Right, what the hell is going on with Call of Duty these days? I mean, if you've noticed the recent few Call of Duties that have released in the last few years, from Call of Duty Vanguard to Modern Warfare 2019 to Cold War to the release of this new Modern Warfare 2, still to this day, I have no idea why they're calling it Modern Warfare 2 because, be honest, I think it's quite disrespectful to the old Call of Duties and to call your game Modern Warfare 2, which is the. It should just be Modern Warfare 4 or Modern Warfare 5, but no. Call of Duty, being the stupid retards they are, decided to name it the same name as a game that came out 10 to 11 years ago. Not too sure that why that's the reason, but you know what? That's for them. But anyway, I wanted to speak on something that I've been thinking about for quite a while, and that is that what the hell has happened to Call of Duty? Because we used to get, actually, when you think about it, we used to get really good games back in the day, and it's just withered away. You know, the money, the people that play COD nowadays is just it's not the same, and it's quite embarrassing, to be honest, because the franchise used to be something that was so pure and that was known for how good the games was, and these days you don't get that. I mean, who actually takes their time out of their day to go and play Vanguard, Modern Warfare 2019, even Cold War, except for the zombies? If you play the zombies, fair enough, but you know, to this day, to this goddamn day, I could jump onto Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, COD 4, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 1, World at War, even Black Ops 3, and play them to death, because at the end of the day, at their core, at the basic of the game, it's entertaining. And these days, Call of Duty doesn't have that. I'm sorry if you disagree. I'm sorry if you agree, but it's the truth. And you know, no amount of paint putting over the advertisements, no amount of schools or faces or celebrities you put in the advertisements will ever change that, unfortunately. And I think with real change, you need to see different things being tried. And I used to be one of them people 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 15 years ago, when I was much younger, who would think games like Call of Duty do need to change because that's how you keep a fan base growing. And whilst I think that is true, obviously with years and years and years of experience, and I'm sure people like you that are listening to this and watching this can understand that effectively change isn't always the best. And I think after Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, you know, all of these amazing games, I look back on it and I go, maybe change hasn't been too kind on Call of Duty, because I see a game that's just not what it used to be. And I know loads of people go on about that. Call of Duty isn't what it used to be. Call of Duty isn't what it was supposed to be back then. Questions like that. But ultimately, the reasons why we like this game, you know, depending on whether you just prefer one Call of Duty over, you know, the multiple, or whether you prefer the recent Call of Duties or whatever. The reason why we do not like Call of Duty these days, in my opinion, for me, the old school gamers, is because they've ripped the heart out of everything that makes them amazing. And what you see now is it's more like they're using the name rather than they're actually making a Call of Duty game. It feels more like a Battlefield. It doesn't feel like Call of Duty. It feels like a cookie cutter Ubisoft game, if that makes sense. And it's so disappointing, if I'm honest, because Call of Duty was a game that was, back in the day, you know, was one of the best. Of course it was one of the best sellers, and that still happens to this day. But I mean, for example, what happened to something as basic as the prestige system in Call of Duty? What happened to that? Why is there battle passes? Why is there tiers? What is this? I mean, I see this in Black Ops 4, and I hate that game with an absolute burning passion, because it, you know, these days Call of Duty is just not what it's supposed to be. And I see Modern Warfare 2, the campaign being released, and I'm just sad. I'm not angry anymore. I'm just sad because this game used to stand for stuff, and it's just demolished. If Call of Duty was a building, it's been demolished, and I don't see any way back. And the only way I could ever see myself really committing to Call of Duty again is through remasters. But that's not going to happen, is it? Because Call of Duty is stingy. The people that make the game, or the people that decide to release the game, are just absolute retards when they come about it, and it's saddening. People love Call of Duty. People used to love Call of Duty. People have fell out. People still fall in love with it, and people hold on to it. This was a game I was brought up on, and it's sad to see the way it's going. However, ultimately, time's moved on with a lot of people. Maybe, to throw a spanner in the works, maybe we've all just grown up. Maybe we've all just stopped caring as much because we've all got lives, we've all got responsibilities. But Call of Duty used to be a game that everybody could go and play and just enjoy, but I don't see that these days. I personally don't see how someone can sit down and play Call of Duty for more than 6 fucking hours. 2 hours, 3 hours, 1 hour. I can only play a new Call of Duty game for 30 minutes. I'm not going to lie to you. I turned on Black Ops Cold War the other day, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to go through on realism mode. I'm going to complete the campaign, and I'm going to try and get achievements. But I started playing it, and it looked good. The graphics looked amazing. But the more I played it, the storyline looked good, but it just didn't hit me. It was one of those games where I just hit dashboard halfway through and just went, you know what? I don't know. I'm gonna go back on Rocket League. I'm a massive fan of Rocket League. I'll just go idle in the training area in Rocket League instead and just do whatever. Because Call of Duty doesn't hit the same. And I'm not expecting it to be as good as it was back in the day, but there's a quote. I think it's something to do with obviously superheroes, where it's live long enough to be the villain, basically. And for so long, Call of Duty was the hero, and now it's the villain. It's got battle passes, it's got Warzone. I mean, who in their right mind cares about Warzone? I am sorry, right? Warzone is probably one of the worst things to happen to Call of Duty since the the tier system in Call of Duty where you can buy battle passes. I'm sorry, I don't like Warzone. I hate it with a burning passion. I hate battle royales now because of it. And Call of Duty should have never done it, because Call of Duty, it's the reason why people love it. The reason why people have such fond memories of it is because of the zombies, the amazing campaign, the multiplayer that was simplistic yet so addicting. Where has that gone? And that's what everybody wants in a Call of Duty game, and it's not happened in ages. And I ultimately think, what has happened? I keep asking this question, and I want answers. There's more questions than answers, and ultimately it comes down to the fact that times have moved on, clearly. And but I just wish, I wish there was something out there like Call of Duty, or something beginning that I could just get into, but I can't. I really can't, because it's Call of Duty was a game I used to play back in the day. I used to enjoy it, and I don't find myself enjoying it anymore. To be honest with you, I'd rather play Modern Warfare Remastered, a game that came out 6 years ago, than I would Vanguard, Cold War, Modern Warfare 2019. And that's the word. That's not good. These games are still relatively new. How am I playing a game I've played before, that I'm playing a remaster of, that I can still play 6 years after its release? How is that possible? Something's gone wrong there. However, to throw another spanner in the works again, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm stuck in the past. Maybe I am simply growing out, not growing, what am I about? Falling out of love with the franchise. And you know what? I probably have. I probably will. And these days, I don't know where the Call of Duty franchise is going. I feel so disconnected. It's unreal. I stopped playing Call of Duty properly properly after I think it was World War Two. So that was Black Ops 4. Black Ops 4 was probably the worst game Call of Duty could ever make. I came back from Modern Warfare 2019. Gunfight was really good, and then I played it for a month. I stopped playing it because it's one of those games yet again where you want to play it, you want to really like it, but it's got no life, it's got no substance, and the people that play it are just fucking retards. Tryhards. It's the same. It's going to be the same in Modern Warfare 2019. It just doesn't feel the same anymore. It's lost that spark. Things change, and ultimately, maybe we need to change. Maybe I need to find a new game that I can enjoy. Because ultimately, Call of Duty is not the only game that's had this same problem. And I find a lot of games these days have changed for the worst for the majority. And to be honest, the only game that I can still enjoy, the only two games I can still enjoy and be like, damn, I remember playing this back in the day and it's just as good as it used to be. Those two games are Rockstar games, GTA 4, GTA 5, GTA San Andreas, Vice City, them games, Red Dead Redemption, Red Dead Redemption 2, and I would say the old Halo games. Halo Infinite was good, but it got boring, and it should have kept us around a lot more, but it got boring, as I said. And I can still play the old COD games, but guess what? Activision, Infinity Ward, Treyarch, all these people that that are owned by Activision under that umbrella, they won't do anything about the old Call of Duties. Black Ops 2 is hacked to death on Steam, on Xbox, on PlayStation. Modern Warfare 3 is, Modern Warfare 2, and it's not just that as well. Nobody's playing these games because they're on the older generations, and again, time has moved on. The old Call of Duties, it's not been kind to them, and I used to spend, I think it was something up to 3 hours a day in 2018 for pretty much 95% of the year playing Modern Warfare 3 during the Black Ops 4 lifespan. Well, that could have been 2019, 2014, but you get the point. I spent my whole 2018 to 2019 playing Modern Warfare 3, right? And you know what? That was amazing. And you know what? I love that. And Modern Warfare 3, right, whilst it wasn't the perfect game, whilst it wasn't the best sequel to Modern Warfare 2, whilst it had problems, it had flaws, it's still Call of Duty at its basics. And that game, it's amazing. The content that was released for it, I could still, 10 years later, 11 years later, I could still go on and grind in that game and I would enjoy every second because to me it meant something. And these days you don't get that. And I just wonder where we go from here because these days it's left in the air. And ultimately, all I can hope is that we get change one day, and change will come soon, hopefully. So yeah.